right, welcome back to another episode of the chat with Assistant Athletic Director Josh Ingham. Appreciate you guys joining me. We have a different group today. The first two episodes, we featured a couple different student athletes from respective sports at USJ. Wanted to switch it up this time and get a little insight from some of our coaches and our coaching staff. Coaches, thank you all for joining me and taking some time to spend and catch up and see how everyone's doing in quarantine. It's really good to see you guys. I miss seeing you guys in person and working with you guys in person, but we're bearing through it. We hope you guys are staying safe and following all the rules and regulations, and hopefully we'll be back in the office as soon as possible. For maybe those who might not recognize who's on the screen, we have head, I guess I should say, cross country and men's lacrosse coach Andrew Fink up in the top corner, head women's soccer coach Kelly Shimmin in the bottom left corner, and Wendy Davis, our head women's basketball coach, in the other bottom corner. All right, thanks guys, appreciate you guys taking some time. We're gonna start with Wendy. We'll just kind of go around to everybody and just give me a little brief history on your journey to USJ. You had a couple of different stops at different places. Obviously, a prolific player at the University of Connecticut under Gino Auriemma. Made 4 NCAA tournament appearances and the first Final Four appearance, I believe, in University of Connecticut women's basketball history. And then took your talents to coaching and a couple stops that way. But just give everyone a little brief history about yourself.
Okay, so coaching-wise, I coached for 6 years at Western New England College, which is now Western New England University. Then from there, I went to Trinity College in downtown Hartford, and I was there for 11 years. I realized I needed a mental and emotional break from the politics of college athletics. I still had a passion for the game, but I needed a break. So for a little over 2 years, I did some home remodeling work and just got away from the sport and everything. I needed a minute. And then Bill Cardarelli, who I've been longtime friends with, his wife was actually my trainer at UConn when I played. And we both live in the same town. So we just our lives have circled each other for a very long time. And I was actually up on a roof in Suffield, and he called me and said that his coach had to quit very close to the beginning of the season to take a job away from basketball. And he wanted to talk to me about possibly being the coach at USJ. So I got down from that roof and we met over lunch the next day and talked about it. And so I've been at St. Joe's for 2 years now, and it's definitely, it's been great. I find USJ to be very welcoming, very supportive. I really enjoy the type of kid that we are able to recruit at St. Joe's. And I found my home, I feel like, to finish out my coaching career. And I needed it. I wanted to end my coaching career on a positive note. And I feel like at St. Joe's, I can do that because I just really enjoy the student athlete that we're able to get to come to St. Joe's.
I think that they refer to Coach Calhoun as the architect, Dan Hurley as the carpenter. I think we're going to have to give you the nickname of like the remodeler or something like that. From the roof to St. Joe's hardwood. No, I appreciate that. Kelly, another prolific soccer star over at, both of our alma maters at Central Connecticut State University. Was just on a call the other day with Tom Pinson's recapping the 2003 championship team over there and your game-winning goal, I believe, against BC. Talk a little bit about how you landed at USJ. I know you had to stop for a couple of years at Hartford. That's what transitioned to the Hartford section of this show with you and Andrew. But give us a little background on how you landed at USJ.
Yeah, well, I came over in 2001 and went to Central. Did my undergrad there and went to grad school as well. So I was fortunate enough that my former coach Mick, it was let me be a GA for a year over there. So it kind of got me into the coaching world. Then when I graduated, there was a job came up at Hartford, and I was able to go over there and be the assistant, and eventually the associate head coach over there. I think I was there 7 years in the end. Then I knew a former player, Jess Gilday, who's a nurse and graduated from USJ. She actually called me up and said, "Do you know anyone that would be interested in the St. Joe's job?" And I was like, well, "Yeah, me." So then I, got in contact with Bill Cardarelli. He was good friends with Jen Rossotti at the time, who I was working over at Hartford with. So Jen put in a call to Bill, and I think everyone that knows Bill was just like, "Oh, just come over, we'll have a chat." So came over and chatted with Bill, and then, we did the interview, and that was it. So I think this is my 5th year now. So been here a while, and like Wendy said, it's just a great environment. I think that, we get a lot of nursing students, education. I just think we get really good kids at USJ. I know right now we've got, a bunch of my alums are actually on the front line right now. Even Lindsay, is my assistant. She's working at the NICU in Yale. You got Amanda Jen, Jess Gilday is a former player. Emily Burke actually works at Hartford Hospital, and she's actually just been diagnosed with COVID. So, I think the kind of kid we get is just so giving. And I think it's just like Wendy said, it's a place you could really see yourself seeing out your coaching career.
Yeah, no, it's, I feel like of any team, your team has, at least in my 4 years, seems like has produced the most nursing students. Hats off to them for everything they're doing. Actually, one of the groups that we're looking to talk to, hopefully soon, actually on next week's episode, is going to try to get 3 former nursing students on a call and kind of see how they're doing. So, from you and Wendy, and we'll get to Andrew in a second, we appreciate, how you guys, I guess, mold these students into, not just great people, but great leaders. And so we'll hop over to Andrew, our most recent addition, another, Hartford product, Hartford connection. Was at Mount Ida for, it seemed like forever until they obviously, unfortunately, shut down a couple years ago. Not unfamiliar to the GNAC. Give us a history of, how you got to USJ.
Yeah, I was at Mount Ida for 16 years and kind of felt like that was my last stop. I had no intention of leaving. Unfortunately, the school closed, and just like everybody, I got a call from Bill Cardarelli and said, "Hey, we're starting something here." And I wanted to stay in small private Division III, and we all recruit. You got to be able to sell the product, and I just thought USJ was a good fit. I also want to go to a place where it was a challenge. And this is a first-year program. There was no men at the time. This is actually the start of my 3rd year at USJ, and just knowing there was nothing there. And whatever it is, I'd be building it from scratch. So every win or loss. And I just, at this point in my career, I've been fortunate to win a few games and just need a new challenge. And there's nothing like a new challenge where there's nothing. So to bring in the first class. And I was also fortunate to coach women's lacrosse, which was something I've never done before. And now I'm doing cross country for the 2nd year coming up. And I also do that in Mount Ida. So I've already coached 3 sports in really just 2 years. So men's lacrosse, had 4 games, went 2-2. We were able to bring in 25 guys, but no, I love USJ. It's been great. Everything I wanted to kind of get something off the ground happened, and obviously the future's bright. And the other thing about USJ, everything they said, it came true. We needed a turf field this year, new athletic center, cafeteria, student center. It all showed up, and I think a lot of schools say they're going to do things, and that doesn't always happen. So for us, when we get back, the future's bright, at least for USJ Athletics.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up, some of the things that are going on campus. You mentioned the turf field, the addition to the O'Connell Center, a new cafeteria. I know you only got a couple games on it. We got, the opportunity to practice on it all fall. I get Kelly's input too from her season. But just talk about those improvements to the field and, how important they're going to be, going forward. Andrew.
Oh, for me?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's huge. I think, we're at a point where, we went 2-2 and now we have our second year of varsity coming here in the GNAC, and here comes a second class. And our second recruiting class makes us, a regular sized roster. We have guys that have now played at a collegiate level. So just having those facilities is now going to give us a chance to compete at the top of the GNAC. And I think when I got here, USJ Athletics just wasn't ready. But now, going into the 2020-2021 season, I think we're ready to compete. But you can't do that if you can't get outside. If you can't do that, if they're not eating right, and just having athletic training and a second gym and varsity only weight room. I mean, these are things that we're going to be able to do in 2021, which should be at the top of the GNAC. But you can't do that without facilities. So I'm looking forward to year two. I think any first year coach would tell you that you just kind of survive year one. And I think for us, we had great learning opportunities where we were able to go on the road and beat Dean College, who's coming into the GNAC. And then we also lost 13-0 to Norwich, the defending champ. So we got a great education on what it's going to take at the top of the GNAC. And then also, if you go 100%, you can compete. So even though it's 4 games for us, I thought it was just enough for us to be ready and stay hungry for year two.
Yeah, no, it was obviously, and we'll talk a little bit more about the shortened season coming up. But really liked what we saw from your guys through the first 4 games. I said at the beginning of the year, I don't know if I said it to you because I don't know if you would have been happy, but at least to Goose and some other people, if you guys went 500, I thought it would be a successful year. I hit it right on the head. Just I didn't think it would be 4 games. But Kelly, I guess a little bit on your input from you got a full year on the turf. Obviously we've had some other schools who weren't so happy when they pulled into the parking lot at USJ saying that, oh man, we got to play on this, it's a little bumpy, a little, I don't want to say dangerous, but, it's, obviously Northeast, you got to really try to get turf if you can. So, huge improvement to the field outside. What was your takeaway from it? You were the first team to ever play a game on it. And I think it was a 2-1 win over Eastern Nazarene. So, what's your takeaway from that improvement?
I mean, it just makes life so much easier. I was there obviously when we were all girls, when we had the grass field, and the grass field was just, it's on marshland. So anytime it rained, you couldn't even get out there. We, went and played at KO, we went and played at Miss Porter's. Like, it was just that uncertainty of not knowing where you were going to play, whether you were going to be able to play, and for, I think the year before we got the turf, that was the worst year for rain and stuff. And we literally, didn't get to practice before our playoff games. And it's just, it's hard to prepare the girls for it. So having the turf field now, they know that we can go practice, unless it's thunder and lightning, we can always get out there. And it's just a much better playing surface. I don't think any amount of work would have made that grass field work for anybody. It's just, wasn't on the right land, basically. But, the improvements and, since we've gone co-ed as well, it's just, you get the guys there watching your games and, the crowds are much bigger. And I just think that going co-ed and improving the facilities has just really made it a better environment for everyone and more supportive. So, I mean, I don't think we could survive without the turf field and being co-ed.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They did a beautiful job on that. It's obviously the grass and some of the surrounding stuff starting to fill in, and much needed improvement. And they did a really nice job of that. Maybe somebody who doesn't necessarily have to always worry about the weather and the turf or the field or the outside, the difficulties that come with playing outside. Wendy, we're fortunate enough that the administration is backed, really backing athletics, and we're adding an addition to our O'Connell Center. They're, I don't know if you've checked the live feed lately, but they're still on track. They're going at it. They got some walls built up there as the addition starts coming together. Brand new gym. We're gonna have brand new weight room and some locker rooms. I know it's hard to talk about because you can't physically touch it yet or see it yet, but you've seen some of the renderings, and obviously we're super excited about it. But what does that mean to your program going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited about it, and so are my recruits, because that's pretty much what I'm using now. Like, hey, you come to St. Joe's, and for 4 years, you can play in a brand new facility. And, not many people can say that. So, and just having more locker rooms for the players, and, like Andrew said about the weight room, having to have our own space. And, eventually maybe all of us coaches can actually move into the building as well, and we can all be together instead of, kind of where we're set up now. So, um, it's just, for us, it's just a great recruiting tool. And also in the winter, um, with juniors and seniors class schedules, um, it might work out well to be able to have two gyms if there's a couple days where we have to practice at the exact same time that the men's team does. Maybe that can happen now in the future.
Yeah, it definitely gives us the opportunity to be a lot more flexible. It'll help, obviously, with our, try to bolster up our recreational activities and get some more people over into the O'Connell Center. And obviously, you want as much traffic in there. We obviously love seeing our student athletes, and we want as many, general students to get in there and use our facilities as much as possible. Hopefully, it all stays on track, and come February, late February, early March, if not sooner, we'll be able to get in there. And, I don't know if you guys will be able to play in there right away next year, but, it looks like it's trending in the right direction. There's nobody there to bother them right now, so it's got to be a good thing, I guess, for them. I want to transition, I guess, over into just talking a little bit about each of you guys' seasons, and I'm going to stay with Wendy. You got thrown into a tough situation last year coming on. You really, the first time you met your team was the first day of practice. 3-22 the first year, but then you go ahead and get your hands on them for a full year. You get to mold them a little bit into what you're trying to instill in them, and you turn it around, and you go 11-14 this year. Huge turnaround. I think it was the biggest win improvement in women's basketball history since like 2001. Talk a little bit about your year, the improvement you made, couple wins in the GNAC, beat a couple of those schools. You're starting to, go in the right direction and climb in the right direction.
Yeah. So, this year was an improvement. We brought in our first recruiting class, which is super helpful. And I also brought in 2 more people to my coaching staff. And so I feel like I have a very strong coaching staff who can do a lot of things to help me. And, this year was exciting. We were very close to making playoffs. I think we were, an overtime loss to Johnson and Wales short of making the playoffs. And so, we more than tripled our win total, but, 11-14, it sounds good compared to the year before, but in my mind, it's still a losing record. And so we have a strong recruiting class coming in this fall. And I think between the 2 recruiting classes and the core of the players that we currently have, I'm confident we're going to do much better next year, and hopefully have a winning record and make playoffs. It takes a while to change the culture of a team, of a program. And, I think we're starting to now finally change that culture. I think the current players are finally buying into what we're asking of them. And it's fun, and it's a great group to work with. And that's always helpful, when you don't have people kind of fighting what you're trying to do. I think they've bought into the fact that if they do what we ask, and our big thing is about we is greater than me. So it's all about being a team, and we don't care who scores or who does what, as long as we get the win. A win is a win is a win. And so that's kind of where we're going. And I'm super excited about next season. I truly hope it happens. So I'm enjoying working with this group a lot.
Yeah, and not a single senior on your roster this year. So, you got a lot of people coming back. Obviously, tough injury. You lost Cheyenne for a little bit there, about halfway through the season. But then you pick up Caitlin Vasquez, and she really turns it on and gives you a little bit of a post presence. That's probably the biggest thing I noticed from year 1 to year 2. You got a little. I don't know if you were a little vertically challenged. I think I'm going to use your words for you in the first year. You added some post people, and I think that helped the team a lot. 2 games I want to talk about just real quick, and I want to get your gut reaction if you can remember them. Obviously, I'm sure you will. The LaSalle comeback, down 16 with 9 minutes left. Incredible comeback. What a game that was. And then secondly, the Dean game. You guys down to Dean. All of a sudden, you just all 5 hockey line change, 5 out, 5 in, and Alexis Perron. I remember her; she stepped up. I think she had a game high 12 points in that game.
Yes.
Just real quick hit on those 2 games and the emotions.
Yeah. So the Dean game was the first game that was at home. Nothing seemed to work with the group I was going with, which was my, normal rotation of, like 7, 8 kids. And at one point I just looked at my staff and I said, you know what, I'm done with this group. We're going to try the kids sitting on the bench and see what they can do. And next thing you know, they start chipping away at the score. And Lexi Perron made some great 3-point shots. And next thing you know, we're back into it. And it was exciting for that group. And I had told my staff that whatever happens, happens. I'm not taking this group out. They're finishing the game. If they finish the game and we lose, oh well. If we finish the game and we win, that's fantastic. And that'll boost that group's confidence. And so we stuck with them and they pulled it out and it was very exciting. And then the LaSalle game, that was a crazy game. First of all, we had scrimmaged them in October. And usually I don't scrimmage a conference opponent, but we were both kind of struggling for one more scrimmage. So we agreed and they beat us by about 15 points at our place in October. And so it was really exciting. We were down, I think we were down 16 points there as well. And we just started hitting some shots and playing well. And the men's team was there too. And they what a great support the men's team were. They were just as excited as we were, and they had to hold themselves back. They were, waiting to come on to play next, and they were right next to our bench. And it was just, the emotions of coming back. And we played, if I remember right, we played a triangle and 2 on their 2 best players that game, which we did not do in the scrimmage because, the scrimmage, we were just learning how to play man-to-man defense at that point. And so we threw on this junk defense and it worked. And some people came up big that game that, usually don't. And again, like you said, we didn't have our best player. Cheyenne Monet-Smith was out. Anna Chevarella showed up big time for that game. Ray Voislow showed up big for that game. And wow, that was probably the highlight of our season was winning that game. That was super exciting. And it gave my team confidence. And I think going forward now they realize, okay, we can compete in this conference and maybe we can make playoffs next year. So it was a good night.
Yeah, no, absolutely wild game. It was fun to be there and be a part of. Yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure at one point Tyree Mitchell, I think, was walking along the baseline and I had to grab him as one of the girls was coming down for a layup. I was like, you can't be under here. Get out of the way. But no, it was really, really a fun atmosphere. Shift over to Kelly. You guys start off super hot, on fire, 10-1 to start the year. All things seem like they're, systems go. You have one senior, and Olivia, your captain. Seems like all the kind of pieces are aligning. And then train kind of falls off the track a little bit towards the end of the year. You still make the playoffs. Your I think 20th consecutive year women's soccer has made the playoffs, which is just astounding. Talk about, I guess, the ups and downs of your season. You make the playoffs and you unfortunately drop a heartbreaker to St. Joe's Main up at their place. You guys fight tooth and nail with them, go to double overtime, PKs, I'll let you guys talk about the season a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think we started off great, but at the same time, I think our record didn't really reflect the way we were playing. We were, fortunate to win some of those games. Kind of, were skating. I think since I've been here, we've kind of been like low on the roster. And, as we've gone co-ed, it's gotten better. So I think this year were kind of peaked too early, and we just didn't really have the depth to see it through to the end. But then by, the time you get to playoffs and it's a one-off game, and, the girls fought tooth and nail with them. And, we were really unfortunate not to win that game. I think Riley got a concussion, had to come off, and, we entered PKs, and unfortunately, Liv missed her PK, which was heartbreaking with her being a senior captain. The last kick of a career was missing the PK, so I know that really killed her. But, the girls did great. I think this year we've got 8 coming in. Like you said, we've only graduated 1. So I think having that little more depth where we can rotate players a little bit more will be fresh at the end of the season. I think we just kind of had a lot of players playing a lot of minutes. So by the end of the year, we were kind of a little tired.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's always, I feel like we always just pencil women's soccer in for the playoffs, and it's just a matter of, where they're going to land. Obviously, we love to host, but, there's the continued just year in and year out success that, you and your predecessors have produced as the USJ women's soccer program is, really great. And we look forward to, the years to come, and we keep getting into the playoffs and keep, rising. Hopefully get a couple home games, get to the GNAC championship in the near future, and bring home that first women's soccer championship.
Be nice.
Yeah. Then obviously definitely the most heartbreaking season, at least, over to Andrew and men's lacrosse. You're here, you say 2.5, 3 years, you're working, you're building, you're recruiting, you're getting all these guys in here. A little bit of a hiatus, at least on the men's lacrosse, coaching platform. Season's finally here. I mean, I know you were all jacked up, ready to go. All the kids were really excited. All things seem to be going pretty well through the first four games. You mentioned 2-2 through the first 4 games, and then you guys get the news about obviously what we're going through right now. What's your raw reaction from the season, and obviously it being cut short?
Yeah, it was a tough experience. Just because as coaches, all my coaches have been great. They've been with me from the beginning. And we recruited, the 25 guys, and you're working for a year and a half just to step on the field, and you finally have turf. We had great weather in preseason, and all we want to do was kind of start the season, and it's just to play. And I think we started to get those guys out there, get experience. Our average age was 18 years old out there, so they're out there and they're competing as hard as they could. And I think we started to get some confidence and kind of find everyone's role. And then all of a sudden, we play our final game on a Tuesday, and on Friday, they're going home. So that was tough. And you're trying to show them that, it's okay that, the season's shorter. We certainly learned a lot. We're lucky to get the 4 games in, but now we get to take the knowledge and come back stronger. So everything we kind of talked about, even on that Friday meeting with our athletic director, Amanda, was just, again, it is what it is. Take the experiences, take all that work and bring it to year 2. We're, I look at my other peers, and a lot of them had seniors and seasons cut short, which is tough. And for us, we didn't have any seniors. Our one senior, we're hoping will be back for grad school. So realistically for us, even though we got cut short, year 2, when you look at men's basketball and men's soccer on the men's side, year 2 has been great for these programs. So we're really hoping with our recruiting class, which is a huge class of incoming freshmen and transfers, we expect to be right there next year. And we get to take what we did, the 2020 season and kind of move it forward. So it was more just the coaches looked at each other and thought, man, it's been a year and a half of work. We're finally here. We finally have turf, tailgates, and the parents and Coach Jones and the coaching staff and, just the athletics stuff. Everything's rolling, and we had to back it up. So it was really just trying to do damage control quickly and get them to stay positive. And that's pretty much what we're doing now. I imagine with the other coaches on just a daily basis of keeping them going and get ready for fall.
Yeah, I mean, the last game, against at Norwich, at least, hopefully gives us all your kids a bad taste in their mouth and a way. Hey, we're gonna take this into the off season and get stronger, bigger, faster. They know what they got to kind of go up against in terms of the premier competition in the GNAC. One key, I guess, quick takeaway is, and I want to get what it means to you, is the couple kids four kids that followed you over from Mount Ida. They had to sit out a year, they take a year off. They literally just followed you here to USJ. To me, I think that's something that stands out and is really special. If I was a coach, these kids really trust me and trust me with their future, and they want to play for me. What's your how do you react to that? What's your takeaway on that?
Yeah, I mean, what a tough 2 years, really 3 years. Your college closes, then you have to sit a year. And a lot of those guys are my managers for the women's lacrosse here at USJ, just to have lacrosse in their life. And here we go. We start the season. One of our guys got hurt. The other guys finally got on the field, excited to play, and then they play 4 games. So it's definitely been a tough road. But even with those guys, they're happy to be here. They found a home. We scrimmaged our Mountain alum group before our season. And so it's been a tough road, but I think, again, they kind of look past that now and excited for what's coming. I think a lot of them are going to use, because USJ is such a great school, a lot of these guys are going to go to grad school and they're going to use their full year's eligibility. And but no, that's a tough road. And we talked about that as, even as the coaches, 3 of my coaches are from Mount Ida and alum, and just talking about how your college closes and then, you finally get back on the field. And because the only teams I've coached was women's lacrosse and our cross country program. So I finally got a chance to get back at it. And we just had one conference game, which was Norwich. And I appreciate that game. Norwich came at us as welcome to the GNAC. And it was the best thing that could have happened to us, is that they just came full throttle at us here, and they didn't pull back until the last second. And we just kind of walked off and said, this is what's coming. So, but we're expected to, be right there next year as long as the guys continue to work. But no, that was tough, and I appreciate those guys, and I think they were guys that helped kind of get us going for the college season, because they've kind of been there, done that. Like, we've played in the GNAC and we've played college lacrosse, where a lot of guys are just so young. But I think, again, because we're able to get 4 games in and start the season so early, year 2, hopefully, they'll just be lacrosse players. And I'm looking forward to a full 16-game regular schedule next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I think we all are definitely looking forward to hopefully full seasons for not only you guys, but all of our sports. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, and hats off to your guys, and our hearts go out to your guys. Obviously a difficult situation. And on that same note, it seems like, a common theme is just that family atmosphere. I don't see too many times guys, obviously with Andrew's kids, school shuts down and they come to USJ, they can't play, but they still want to be around you. He's part of that family. And I think at one point I heard all you guys mention just family. Kelly, USJ, family, any words to recruits or potential recruits? And I've been following you guys on social media. It seems like you guys have a couple good recruits coming in. Any message to them on what they should expect? Any words of motivation that get them going over the summer to make sure they're ready when they come in?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 8 coming in, and they're all great kids. They're going to be great students. They're going to be great athletes. They're getting the summer workout packet. Mike Jones has been unbelievable. He's still been writing the packets for everyone, even though he's not with us right now. And he still wants them all checking in with them. I'm lucky that I've got really good people on my team, so they've been reaching out to the recruits. They're already in the group me. We do a team Zoom meeting every week, and some of the incoming freshmen have been joining in on that. So I think we've already tried to include them, and then I think the more interaction we have together, the easier it'll be for them coming in the fall. But I'm not concerned about them at all. They're all great kids, and they're all doing what they're supposed to be doing, and I think they're really going to push people for some minutes next year.
Oh, great. Wendy, what do we have coming in. What should we expect from the 2020-21 USJ women's basketball team?
Yeah, so I have 6 coming so far, and I'm waiting on 3 more. So I could have as many as 9, which will make for good competition. I don't have that many uniforms for the current team plus the newcomers. So, competition is a good thing. And, like Kelly said, Coach Mike has been unbelievable. And he's working with my team right now. And he did a summer program that my team and the incomers will start on June 1st. And I do this, I'm sure most people do it, but I do a summer buddy system. So I match a current player with an incoming player, and just so that the incomers aren't always reaching out to just the captains with questions. They just reach out to that person, whether they have questions about the workout, whether they have questions about USJ in general. So they definitely get to know that summer buddy very well. And we're gonna have them on our next team meeting. I think it's like March 12th. We're gonna put those 6 kids on so that they can all kind of see each other and who they are and all that good stuff. So it's gonna be fun.
Oh, awesome. And Andrew, maybe not losing a ton of people. Obviously you hit that 25 number mark that you were aiming for roster size. What's it look like for next year for an incoming class, and what should we expect?
Yeah, no, we're excited. I can ask for a better incoming class on year 2. I think you have a lot more time to really identify that you don't need 25 guys. If you bring in 10 guys, that's a great class. And our goal is to get over 30. Just a style we play. Even on our last game, we were kind of falling apart. There were injuries because we just play such an up-tempo style. So it is nice to bring in that next class of 10 guys just so we can do what we want to do. But you really need 30-plus guys. So we're excited that that's all going to happen. But the class coming in, again, you're not trying to bring in a whole team. So we've really been selective. And one thing we did at Mount Ida, we always reloaded quickly. We were never on a rebuild. There's always a reload. And I think that's what's happening with this class. We have transfers coming that are going to step right in and we're off. We have freshmen that are ready. They're going to step in and challenge for competition like the other coaches said. I think even those guys are just coming in with new set of goals. It's no longer the first game. And I'm excited for that. It's no longer my first time playing college lacrosse, my first goal in my first game, my first time on a bus. I'm glad that's over. I'm excited just to be in the GNAC, be a good member of the GNAC, and then attack the GNAC. I will say also cross country, we have runners coming in on our women and men's side that are ready to go, make our team better, new set of goals there. Great first year, but new blood always helps. With a good core of returners incoming, both teams are full. So I'm excited for that. That's what's going to make life a lot easier for the coaches, just power in numbers.
Yeah, great. I guess just to wrap up quick, maybe we'll go around and just get an idea of what you guys been up to pass time. Obviously recruiting, but anything fun, I guess, inside the house, anything on Netflix, just trying to get an idea of maybe something that your kids wouldn't that you wouldn't want them to know. What are you guys watching? The same thing they're watching? Tiger King. We've had a lot of that from some of our student athletes. Some of you guys are into that stuff, but let's get a little fun with it. And Wendy, I guess, what have you you've been doing? You've been up on the roof. You've been doing some home projects.
Oh, let's see. So I get up every morning and go for a run outside, which is wonderful. I enjoy that run. I walk the dogs. So between those two things, that's about an hour and a half outside of the house, which is wonderful. I just finished putting together a 1,500 piece puzzle. So now I'm ready for my next puzzle. What else? I painted the room that I'm sitting in right now, and that's been hanging over my head for about 2 years. So I'm glad I finally had time to do that. I did a little project at another house with insulating and sheetrocking a ceiling. So I am still keeping those skills fresh. And now I'm just waiting for the weather to get nice so that I can paint my deck, paint my fence, get the mulch out. I love working in my backyard. And so now I have, an excuse to actually stay home and work in my backyard.
All right, we'll get the mulch out. I think it's supposed to be 70 the next 2 days.
Yeah, it's
So,
gonna be great.
yeah, no, I can't wait. Definitely probably some golf going to be played on my end this weekend, and hopefully maybe some grilling. Who knows what's going to happen. Kelly, any fun things just to pass the time? How's quarantine life going?
Similar to Wendy, walk the dog. So she's very happy. She goes out a lot now. I've been trying to work out, do little circuits in the basement every day, just trying to stay sane. Obviously, Netflix is a big help. I got through Ozark, You. So just finished up, Little Fires on Hulu. So yeah, I've actually, every time we're on Zoom, I ask the girls for recommendations on Netflix. So, but yeah, just, the house has never been cleaner. The laundry's all up to date. Trying to stay busy, stretch the day out.
Andrew, I know you got a bunch of little ones running around. How you've been handling that situation, and you've been watching any good cartoons, and what do you got on tap?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything fun. I'm doing homeschooling, to my kids from kindergarten to third grade. I can handle kindergarten. I know my level, and that's about it. So having 3 kids with me every day, that's a lot. So, yeah, that's my day, and I'm eager to get back to normal.
You got 30 of them. You 3 should be a cakewalk. You get 30 of them back at USJ. You got to worry about.
What have you been doing, Josh?
Some Netflix. I got little Brooks, so he's definitely been keeping me active and outside. We try to go for at least 2 walks a day. Mostly that. A lot of training the dog, trying to make sure he's on his best behavior, and playing golf whenever it's nice enough to get out there. My roommate's actually a member at Tumblebrook right down the road over in Bloomfield. So he tries to sneak me over there as much as possible, which is nice.
And what's the Netflix recommendations?
Ooh, right now, like binge watching Criminal Minds every night. That seems from the beginning. Started at season 1, episode 1, and just gonna zoom right through it. I think I'm on like season 4 right now, so we'll see. Try to do like 2 or 3 episodes a night, and that's been for the last like 4 weeks. But no, I appreciate you guys joining me. Take some time. We appreciate everything that you guys do. Obviously, we wouldn't be here without you. We miss you. I know we talk to Amanda, Wale, and Meg on a daily basis, and that's probably the thing that we miss the most. Not only the interaction with the student athletes, but with you guys on a daily basis. And again, it's like family and fun atmosphere in athletics. It's obviously a great place to work and a great field to work in. So I just want to make sure we say thank you to you guys, and we appreciate all your hard work, and we can't wait for you guys to get back on campus and the kids to get back on campus and start competing, and hopefully start getting back to normal here soon. All right.
Great. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah, no, we
appreciate it.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
All right. Be safe, everybody.
Yeah, you guys
Bye, guys.
too.
Bye.
Bye.